all that we have invented, the symbols in the church, the rituals, they're all put there by thought. Thought has invented these things. Invented the savior, invented the temples in India and the contents of the temples. Thought has invented all these things called sacred. You can't deny that. So thought in itself is not sacred. And when thought invents God, God is not sacred. So, what is sacred? That can only be understood or happen when there is complete freedom from fear, from sorrow, and when there is this sense of love and compassion with its own intelligence. Then, when the mind is utterly still, that which is sacred can take place. All religions have always said there is only our path, our savior, our system, our belief, our rituals, and only through those we will find salvation. This has been the constant song of all religions. And I happen to have said many, many years ago, which has so true, that there is no path to truth. Truth, according to them, is a fixed point. And if it's a fixed point, you can have as many paths as you like. But if it's not a fixed point, it's a living thing, moving. Movement in the sense in the world of no time, which is a different matter. Naturally, there's no path to it. But you see, we don't want such a dangerous outlook. We want everything fixed. We want every object to be final. I wonder why human beings throughout the world don't see this simple fact that you cannot possibly have peace on earth if you are nationalistically divided. We want order outside in the world, politically, religiously, economically, socially. In our relationship with each other, we want order. We want some peace. We want some understanding. And if the inward psychological state is not orderly, not conflicting, not contradicting, if that state in consciousness is quiet, steady, clear, then you can bring about order in the world. Now what we are trying to do is try to bring order legislatively, nationally, and so on, order out there in the world, which has been proved over and over again that totally brings about disorder. That's why we are saying, I'm saying, that without inward order, that is, inward order in consciousness, which is in a mess, which is in a contradiction, without bringing about order inwardly, psychologically, you cannot possibly have order outwardly. And the crisis is there. We think the crisis national, economic, social, and so on. The crisis is not out there. The crisis is really inward. And we are unwilling to face that. Question? Who is there to tell you what to do? See, when we are children, the parents tell you what to do. That same mentality is cultivated right through life. In school, you are told what to do. In college, you are told what to do. In university, right through life, somebody tells you, this is right, this is wrong, this should be done, that should not be done. Which means what? There is no self-investigation. There is no saying, I am really the rest of mankind, but you are. Because every human being right through the world goes through a great deal of suffering, great deal of pain, great deal of anxiety, uncertain, confused, insecure, like you, like the rest of the world. We don't accept that. We think my suffering is totally separate from other people's suffering. And so, we have this mentality that I must have somebody to tell me what to do. Right from the Pope down to the poor parish priest. Psychologically, why should I accept what somebody else says? When I realize that I am the rest of mankind, mankind is me. The me is the history of mankind, the book of mankind. If I know how to read it, I don't depend on anybody. So, can I, without distortion, without prejudice, without choice, be aware of the content of this book, which is me? To read it very carefully, never distorting it, requires a great deal of attention, great deal of energy, intensity, immediacy. And we are not willing to do all that because we think that's too tiresome. Tell me quickly what to do and I will do it, or I may not do it. Generally, I may not do it. And I personally think that this psychological guidance by another, whether it is the religious guidance or the the guidance of the psychologists, is totally wrong as far as because then you're making humanity into children who have to be guided, told, encouraged. We are grown-up human beings after 5 or 10 million years. Through negation of what is not, the positive exists. That is, love is not desire. Love is not pleasure. Love is not a remembrance. It is as strong as death, as vital as life. And you see, love can only exist when there is no suffering. Suffering is personal. Suffering is also global. Man has suffered endlessly. And he tries to combine that suffering with what he calls love. And so there's always this contradiction, this duality Whereas if you deny all that is that which is not love, then the other thing has its immense beauty, great strength and vitality of its own. You've heard all this, you as a human being. Why don't you change? What prevents you? If each one of us asks that question, not verbally or merely intellectually as an entertainment, but ask that question most seriously and deeply, what's your answer? What's your answer to this problem that human beings have lived this way for millennia upon millennia? Why haven't they changed? Why haven't you, who are listening now, why haven't you changed? You know, if you don't change, what's the consequences are? You'll be nationalistic, you'll be tribal, insular, isolated, and therefore having no relationship globally, fighting, building up more and more armaments, destroy each other. Now, why don't you, if you are at all serious in this matter, why don't you ask yourself that question? Why am I, a human being who have been through all this, why haven't I changed? What would be your answer? After all, life is one global unitary movement. So, in the same way, our consciousness is common to all mankind. Now, if I radically change, surely it affects the rest of the consciousness of man. Now, why don't you change?